Hey everyone, Stoner Van Hound here. It is Thursday, April 10th, 2025. This is part two of Was Jay Sebring a drug dealing racist coward? Yes, the first video I'd made about this actually went so well, and I got a lot of comments, especially like, where are you and why are you wearing your work shirt and all that kind of stuff. But besides all that stuff, I got a lot of other comments too. But one of the things that I get a lot of from the video was the whole, drug dealing, racist, coward thing. Now, a lot of people, everyone, just about everybody agreed he wasn't a coward. And everybody agreed that he wasn't a racist. But the problem in the comments that I'm getting here and the emails and stuff is all about the drugs. Now, it's a touchy subject, and it's hard to really put it in perspective here, because there are people out there, we want 100% proof there was a massive connection with the drugs and all this stuff. Like, we want to see the paper trail. We want to see receipts. Where's the receipts? Now, I'm pretty sure, because I used to sell drugs back in the day, and we've all done drugs. Not all of us, I shouldn't say all of us have done drugs. Most of us have tried drugs. But when you buy drugs, they don't give you a receipt. There's nothing for your taxes later, and I got the receipts there. So there really is no like paper trail or real way to put the connection that there's this massive operation going on with drugs. Look, Jay wasn't the one growing the drugs. He wasn't the one importing it into this country and stuff and all that. But obviously, he knew the people that were selling it. He was not selling drugs, but obviously he knew the people that were selling drugs. Now, there are a lot of people out there that are saying, Stoner, you don't know what you're talking about. He was a drug dealer, blah, 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 blah. Because they're always going to believe just what they read. And I'm like, okay. Now, me personally, do I think he was a drug dealer? No. Because he would have had even more money. No, but he knew where to get the drugs because of connections. I think Jay had a job that put him in a position to where he could get so many connections, especially in Hollywood. Now, think about this for 1 second. Where would you meet someone if you wanted to score some grass in 1969? Where would you go? Think about that for 1 second. I mean, for you, for my audience that's much older, and you're older than me, and I'm 55, at one point, even in the 80s when I had to score grass, it wasn't that simple. It wasn't like now I can go down to the dispensary. Hey, I'm going to buy some grass, and I just go to the store now. I remember in the 80s, 85, 86, 87, I had like 5 different people on speed dial. If the first one wasn't there, you called the next one, you called the next one, you called until somebody hit. And usually the guy that you want to call first, he usually had the best stuff. You put his number at the top, and then, oh God, all right, finally, we'll just go with Jim's stuff or whatever. Because you just want to get high. So it wasn't that easy. You actually had to know people, and to know people means you had to go to certain places. Now, in Hollywood, where you would go would be the Sunset Strip. Think about that, the Whiskey A Go-Go, the Roxy, the Rainbow, all these different clubs that people would hang out with. And while you're in these clubs and this and that, when the women and the go-go dancers, you're meeting people. You're meeting people and this and that and this and something this, or somebody says, hey, would you like to try this? Or if you ever need anything, I can get you this. And that's how it works. It's that simple. So if you're not going to tell me that Jay wasn't hanging out at the Whiskey and all these little clubs on the Strip. He was definitely, that was the hip thing to do. Nothing wrong with that. So that's how you meet people of the underworld, as you go to these places. So I think Jay was just really good at making connections because, sure, a very charismatic guy, easy to meet. So was he a drug dealer? No. But if you look at everything that we've ever seen, even at Cielo Drive, when they searched his car after the murders, there were drugs in his car. See? And then every one of his friends in Cutting to the Truth said, well, he had the doobie, he had the cocaine, he knew where to get LSD. People have said in their books that, he'd bring baggies of cocaine to when he come over to cut my hair and stuff like this. So it's kind of like saying like, oh, hey man, Stoner Van Houten, I have weed all the time. Anytime you come to my house, sure, I have weed, and I come to your house, I just happen to have weed and weed and weed and weed. Well, your name's Stoner. Yeah, but I'm not a pot dealer. I'm just somebody who really likes smoking marijuana. So it's the same thing with Jay. Now, listen, Was he possibly making a little bit of money on the side? Probably, because most middlemen do. If you know anything about the middleman, you can get the baggie of Coke. Let's just say, for instance, this is hypothetical. I get the baggie of Coke for $5, but then I sell it to you for $20. Now I made a little $15 profit, and all I'm doing is I'm not really the dealer, but I went over here to get the dope because I know the person and they know me. Hey, we'll give it to you for a good price. Well, $5 a baggie. And then I sell it to you for $20 a baggie. And then I make a $15 profit. Everybody seems to make money no matter what. You guys know this is true. No matter how many hands the dope touches, the money seems to go up. So you get it at one price, then it goes up another $5 or whatever, until finally the buyer finally gets it. Now, was Jay doing that? No, there's no proof of that because people want receipts and we want concrete evidence that he really made that $15. There's no way of telling that. Plus, also, I think some people are very good at hiding and keeping things from their friends and family. Don't act like you've never kept any secrets from your friends and family. So it wouldn't have been that hard for his friends not to know. Just because his apprentice or other people didn't see it or he didn't mention it to them doesn't mean that Jay wasn't doing it. I mean, Jay seems to be a very, very smart guy, and maybe he was just better than other people at hiding things. Just like you said, he was very good at keeping everything discreet between him and his clients and everything, and he was very good at that. So how do we not know he wasn't very good at keeping secrets from his friends and stuff like that, of doing stuff? I'm not saying that he's selling stuff or anything. I'm just saying, because there's no concrete evidence and there's no receipts, to link him to a massive organization. We know about Canada and all this stuff, and drugs. Okay, Mexico is doing some stuff too. I don't think the weed was coming from Canada. The weed was coming from Mexico. So you'd have to know different people. They want to blame Canada for everything, like it's their fault all the drugs came in. No, the weed's coming in. Now, some drugs were coming in from Canada, but then the weed's coming in from fucking Mexico. Anyway, so a lot of people with the video that I made are like, I don't know about that whole, the drug thing. Everything else I understand. Okay, he wasn't a racist. He wasn't a coward. But the drugs, he did have drugs on him. He knew where to get them. So that's a fact. And also the one thing and I'm going to do part 3 of this video, his relationship with Wojciech Wierchowski. If you really think about their relationship, why were they friends? What was their connection? If Jay had connections, well, what was his connection with Wojciech Wierchowski? And what was Wojciech Wierchowski? Because every time you look at what he is and what it says his job title is, it kind of changes as actor, writer, self-employed. But I think we all know what he really was. Gigolo, kind of taking advantage of Abigail Folgers. And that's a video for another day. At least that's what I feel he was. Was Jay trying to help him start something so he can get something? I don't know, because there's no receipts and there's no real connection that shows that Jay was trying to help Wojciech Wierchowski start some kind of drug business, even though they were kind of like hanging out and they were friends. Why were they friends? Just because he's friends with Sharon, this and that, because of Abigail. I mean, how well? And I think that's something that people should probably look into more with Jay, is his friendship with Wojciech Wierchowski. But for now, people, you guys can believe what you want and this and that. Did Jay know where to get drugs? Yes. Was he a drug dealer? No. Is he a middleman? Yes. Was he making a little profit from picking up the dope and delivering it to somewhere else? Who knows? Because there's no connection and there's no receipts. So we don't know. It's all speculation, which I think with the interview with Anthony DeMaria and Paul now has stirred that pot and getting it all riled up again. And here goes in this whole thing again with the drugs, which we know certain things are fact. Jay knew where to get drugs. That's a fact. It's funny how you don't need a connection or a receipt to know that Jay knew where to get drugs, because he had it. His friend said it. Go watch Cutting to the Truth. If you've not seen Cutting to the Truth, the Jay Sebring story, it's very, very good. It's free on YouTube. Check that out. So here's Stoner Red Hound. This is part 2 of the video. We're going to do part 3 too. Maybe Jay Sebring's friendship with Wojciech Wierchowski next. All right.